We are back in Grand Island's premier amusement park. Well, Grand Island's only amusement park. The thankfully, having survived, formerly known as Fantasy Island, now known as Niagara Amusement Park. Not really known by many locally, because even at the border, and I told him I was coming to this park, I had to actually refer to it as Fantasy Islands for him, for the customs agent to know what I was talking about. Why are we here today? Well, it turns out that there may be a new coaster credit that's open as of today, and it's the last week of the summer. So we finally managed to get down here. We're gonna check out the park and see what rides are actually open this year, as it's taken them a bit of time to get some of the, let's say, mix and mash, mishmash of rides that is in the parking lot that we'll look at the end of this vlog to actually be built in the park proper. But we're here now, and apparently a couple are now up and running, including a new coaster. Let's hope. So let's go inside Niagara Amusement Park and check it out here for 2024. I heard some unusual sounds in the background, so it sounds like there's some animatronics in the kids section too. We'll come back to this at the end, but we always start in Western Town. And we're gonna make our way straight to the Midway to see what action awaits us.
Seesaw swinging with the boys in the school and your feet flying up in the air. Yeah. So I took big chairs at the high school dance with the missus she was doing. She told me how to walk this way. But she told me to walk this way, talk this way.
Somewhat unfortunate that Western New York's newest credit, well, newest reopened credit, is in such a slow park today. And as I've said previously, this park, at least for a natural setting, it's very idyllic. You wouldn't think it from the outside, but it's actually a very pretty park. So we have one new attraction that looks like it's getting close to being ready to open. It's of course got no base, so it's clearly not ready to go yet, but I think this is actually a very nice addition in this spot, which used to have like the premier thrill ride in the park before it changed ownership. And there is of course Silver Comet, which looks like it's not open right now, which is somewhat distressing. It looks like it might be opening later on, because there is a team in there and it looks like they're preparing for a test run. A ride that is running is the Sea Dragon pirate ship that was close to being operational on our last visit, and it's now doing its thing. Well, a ride that I certainly did hope that I would get on this year, it looks like it's not going to be up to the task, is this gigantic haunted house. From what I understand, it came from Rye Playland, and the work is definitely being done on it to get it up to running shape. In fact, I thought that this wheel was actually spinning, or actually it's just the wind itself that's carrying it. This is a great haunted house, however, and I'm certainly hoping that it's up and running soon. I've maintained that this park would definitely do well with a haunt event, as there's nothing really in this area other than Darien Lake, and you've got this great haunted house here that could be a showpiece to this whole attraction or to that type of event. So let's hope they get it up running soon. It looks a lot better than it did the last time I was here last summer. So it's getting there. Maybe not this year, but hopefully next year. It's a very fast cycle on Sea Dragon. The people that were on the last cycle just got off and they're going again. This is the first time that we've been in this section of the park in 4 years. I'd say even 5 actually, as this area had not been open since the Fantasy Island days. I will say that they've got all this asphalt, which, you know, would have been nice if it was themed, but I will say it's a refreshing cleanup from what had previously been some worn-in asphalt that hadn't been replaced for years. And now we have a Matterhorn / Polar Express ride, all the pieces of which are strewn about. It really does strike me that they have one team of mechanics that are working on each ride here, and they're slowly trying to get it all back up into shape. This is definitely a Caterpillar ride that dates from, not really sure when, but it's got an interesting decor to it, so it's definitely probably from another place like Rye Playland. As Silver Comet goes for a test run in the background, we will certainly get on it if they will allow us. Now, the last time that we were here in this section of the park as a Fantasy Island visitor, this tilt-a-whirl was in the same exact spot, and I'm not even sure if it ever moved. But they just replaced the old tilt-a-whirl with a new one. It was very reminiscent of what the park was like back when it was open fully, back in its heyday. There was also a wild mouse down here, crazy mouse, that I didn't even get on. But the newest attraction is just ahead. Serpent. New for 2024 here at Niagara Amusement Park. Finished my first ride on the Serpent, the park's Zyklon Galaxy, just behind me over here. Really smooth ride, remarkably. Got a little insight into the reconstruction of this ride. It apparently is missing some wheels on the single car that is functioning on essentially, the ride. Yeah, there has to be enough weight in the car for safety reasons, otherwise something might happen. So it took a little time to get on. But good ride, super smooth for what really you would expect from an older ride. It'd be pretty rough. But yeah, elegant, took those this double helix really well. Fair amount of G's going into it. Just a nice, pleasant ride. An old school carnival coaster, and perfectly fits this park without question. A nice addition and a nice, smooth, excellent ride. Maybe a little paint job and a couple extra trains, and we got a winner here for sure. Serpent, my newest credit here in 2024. I certainly didn't think I'd be getting it this year. Also back up and running is the park's classic car ride. Original to the park. Gas-powered antiques. you're a fan of carnival rides and carnival ride history and mechanics, well, you'll certainly like this park because there's definitely remnants of it all around. What you have in front of us here is a condor that looks like it's about to be constructed. Husk condor, for those of you that aren't familiar. Very few of these still functioning, including one at the park that we just came from, Marineland, across the Niagara River. So the park still clearly has some work to do, as their main theater stage has been retained, but obviously hasn't really been refurbished. Did get a ride on the flying scooters, which was actually a quite good ride. And Silver Comet is actually running with passengers on it, so we're going to go over there and not waste time, as I've not seen many runs of it today, so we're going to make sure we get our ride right now. Won't lie, the entire capacity for this park is pretty much in line for Serpent, as Silver Comet is a walk-on, so I'm going to get a couple rides in before I wrap up my day here. Maybe one more ride on Serpent, we'll see. It was a little bit complicated getting a single rider on. I don't want to trouble the poor attendant that had to come on with me. Just got off Silver Comet. A little bit of a grease issue, which was a delay of the ride, but fantastic. Might be one of the best rides I've ever had on it. Towards the back, about 2 seats from the back, non-wheel seat. Excellent, excellent ride. It was definitely greased up for this journey. I might try to sneak in another ride. As we pass this haunted house again, and I'm so tempted by it. I'm like, I wish this haunted house was going. But it just means we're gonna have to come back again. Just finished my second ride on Silver Comet. It's running really good. That is definitely the best coaster in Western New York, without question, at least wood-wise. Yeah, solid ride. I'm actually going to be riding Predator shortly, so maybe I'll change my mind on that in an hour or two. But yeah, great ride, running super smooth, slick, fast. And now I never really allot enough time in this park. I'm always like, I can get it in and out in an hour and a half to an hour. There's not really too much for an adult to keep themselves occupied with. But here I am, already running a little bit behind. The staff here are super friendly and chatty, so yeah, prepare yourself for that if you like a chat and you want to find out some information about the park, which I found a couple of insights. I suggested once again my Halloween idea, as I think this park would be perfect for a Halloween event. The gentleman that I was speaking to, Bjorn, was saying that they used to have one here, but unfortunately, currently they don't. Let's hope that changes in the near future. Just a small little look through of the kids section now. I'm really kind of just hunting for new credits. I don't think there's anything new here. In fact, there's barely any children here. There used to be a coaster here, and there should be again, really, honestly. They deserve to have a Wacky Worm replace the original that was in this section. Little Milli Vanilli. Always got time for that. So that's it. Unfortunately, we have to leave. I got to get a quick bite to eat, and then we're off to my next park. I'm definitely looking forward to coming back, however, to Niagara Amusement Park, because it looks like they have even more exciting attractions opening up next year. Everything's tight-lipped, as one of the attendants told me, but I'm sure there's some exciting stuff to come. But for now, 2 credits that you can get here. One, which is definitely worth it if you're in the area, which is Silver Comet. And then, of course, Serpent, which was an excellent ride in its own right. I'm looking forward to coming back next year to ride it when those wheels are attached, so that way it's not so weird try to get it on or get on there on my own. But yeah, definitely enjoyed it. Definitely worth a visit. Get down here. There's only a week left. By the time that this is posted, it probably will be closed for the season. But yeah, it is a park that's unappreciated. I love these small local parks. I've come here 5 years in a row, except for the years that unfortunately it was closed. It's always worth it and always leaves a smile on my face. We have one last thing to look at outside in the parking lot, and then we'll wrap it up. We of course have to do one final thing, as this is the most curious parking lot in the amusement industry right now, and it's been covered fairly well on this channel over the years. It's a parking lot full of cars. I was actually surprised when I got here. Like I said, it's a Tuesday, and they're doing a little bit of a draw here at Niagara. I've never been to the water park, which is the primary draw for this entertainment center, if you will. And I did hear them talking about the fact that they are going to get one of those giant water splashes installed here very soon, as the seagulls overlook all the wares. Now, all this water park gear was here the last couple of years, so nothing's really changed there. Of course, the biggest thing that people are curious about is the Schwarzkopf shuttle loop, which regretfully even have like pieces of it just sitting here on the sides. It certainly looks like it's well, it's like a souvenir I'd love to take, to be honest, but we won't be doing that because we like the park and we want to see this thing get built. But it definitely looks in worse shape than it was. In fact, the actual flywheel mechanism is missing, which makes me think it might have gone somewhere for repairs or it's been scrapped. And now we have this new gear here, which wasn't here last time, which is of another coaster, maybe another shuttle loop, if that's possible, that's actually made it over here. So yeah, it's there's certainly work being done. I feel like they're kind of just trying to see what pieces are available to actually make this thing work once again, but there you have it. I feel like this park is very determined to get this thing up and running, but it doesn't look like it's ever going to, I hate to say. It's been 3 years since it's been in storage in this lot, just sitting here dormant. And now the other interesting thing here is the pirate ship in the background that is kind of obsolete considering that the park already has one, is this giant purple track, which certainly looks like a Larson loop. In fact, I believe it is actually the Mardi Gras Larson loop. Can't remember the park specifically it came from, but without question, that is definitely a Larson loop that has appeared since our last visit here. And it looks like it's in pretty good condition, so I'm pretty sure they'll probably get this one up and running first before they get anything else running. It looks like a massive Larson loop too. The pieces are pretty big. I don't recall them ever looking quite that large in pieces, but there are definitely people that will know better than I exactly what this ride is. It's got to be a Larson loop, but it looks like it's a gigantic one. All right, off to the car. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one, which will be at Darien Lake. But for now, thanks for dropping in.